What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are jumping in with a bunch of Destiny 2 updates. So following the patch that we had for D2 yesterday, as is pretty normal, more stuff broke, but before Bungie could even get to the patch, there was more things broke, which is a perfect explanation because grammar. So we'll round up a few of the updates from Bungie. They discuss holofoils crashing games. Man, I feel bad for console players at the moment. Every time Bungie release something that looks shiny, it seems to just break things. Of course, Bungie updated the Iron Banner armor. They give an apology for that, and speak about finally, hopefully building momentum with the upcoming roadmap that they're going to release soon. Otherwise, a bunch of fixes for new issues this week. And yes, we'll talk about the lightweight swords. Right now, they're able to just delete bosses. Unfortunately, Bungie have promised to disable them. Otherwise, we'll round up missing patch notes and another glitch that was discovered in the past few days, which unfortunately was fixed with the patch. I'm not sure Bungie ever knew that it was actually a thing, nor did most people, so we'll round it up in the video. If you guys enjoy this one, hit subscribe and help us on our way to 600,000 subs. We might just get there one day. Otherwise, let's get into it. So first up, of course, Bungie replaced the Iron Banner armor set, or at least the visual component, with the upcoming Ancient Majesty set, which was supposed to be an Eververse set, but is instead being applied to the Iron Banner armor. Worth giving a heads up that the icon for the Iron Banner armor shows the original set, the one that Bungie was supposed to release, but when you inspect it or equip it to your character, it will have the Ancient Majesty appearance. So I know some folks have been thrown off by that. But on top of hearing the feedback about Iron Banner and Eververse cosmetics in general, DMG adds, "It sucks that we've been unable to build positive momentum, too many bumps in the road and missteps. I truly believe we are beginning to shift and head in the right direction. Roadmap to come, and I hope it helps us to rebuild trust as we move towards Renegades and beyond." So that's nice to hear. There's a whole debate at the moment as to whether we should congratulate Bungie for the win with the Iron Banner armor specifically. I think the reality is we should just be honest, right? When Bungie make a bad decision, we need to tell them it's bad. When they improve that decision, or partially fix it, or simply make a good decision, I think it's worth saying, yes, that's a good thing. But that certainly applies if you actually want the game to get better, right? We can't just permanently be negative no matter what happens. Because unfortunately, it would appear that Bungie need the additional direction of players at the moment to actually make the right choices. So honesty is important, and I very much look forward to seeing what that roadmap is that Bungie are going to talk about. To an extent, we can forgive bugs and some of the limitations in the game right now because not everything can be fixed overnight. Obviously, it is far more obnoxious, however, when Bungie do things like what happened with the Iron Banner armor, because those are sort of clear anti-player tactics, which is really a different bag of tricks. So give me your thoughts. Speaking of tricks though, Bungie say we're investigating reports that inspecting weapons in Iron Banner event home causes freezing issues on Xbox consoles. Until we can ship out a fix, we recommend Xbox players do not inspect Iron Banner weapons. That's certainly one way to deal with the problem. Although they did follow up and they said, firstly, they've deployed a fix for the issue preventing players from respawning in solo ops, and please note that revive tokens are not working as intended in the reclaim activity. The team is working to resolve this. So more weirdness after the patch yesterday. Plus additionally, Widow's Court Onslaught is rewarding fewer engrams than intended, so they're going to disable the game mode in the portal until they can resolve that issue. Otherwise, they add to the Iron Banner thing that the weapons in the event home are acquirable again, but drops no longer display their holofoil until a fix can be deployed at a later date. Otherwise, an extra thing that's gone off in the last couple of days, but you may have seen what's been happening with lightweight swords. Destiny 2 team say, as lightweight swords are generating a lot more damage than intended due to a gameplay bug, we will be temporarily disabling them tomorrow with a live update. Until then, enjoy the slashing. So to an extent, Bungie are leaning into it a little bit, referring to it as the slashing. Others have said it's the craftening 2.0, not least because we also have the thing going on with Sturm at the moment. Unfortunately, the swords will be disabled, but it's nice to get communication about it ahead of time at least. Again, better communication from Bungie, recognizing players are actually having fun with this. Ultimately, they can't keep it in the game because it's just broken, but they're going to give us a window of time to play around with it. My friend Duddits first posted a video on this actually, and basically any lightweight sword without ammo, so just a hilt, when in the air, so if you jump up in the air and sword hilt something, as you can see the damage output is ludicrous, especially as it applies to older raid bosses who have lower health pools than, most other bosses in the game right now. They get absolutely deleted, so it's very, very broken. Not least because it pairs with certain perks and stats, so the melee stat and the weapon stat will buff this because we're talking about half weapon, half melee damage. Other things like Mask of Bacchus, Radiant, Weapon Surges, Syntheseps, Facet of Courage, most things that will buff damage will also buff this. which is enabling players to do some very ridiculous things. So within a few hours of this video going live, ultimately it will probably be fixed, but certainly a bit of fun to be had there until it is. There was another glitch actually in the last few days, ever since Ash and Iron dropped, which I was about to cover yesterday. I'd only just got to the appropriate power levels. It is now no longer possible to do it, but basically at power 451 or above, once you've unlocked ultimate difficulty, this was actually discovered by one of my clanmates, but you could put modifiers onto an ultimate difficulty solo ops, then back out and change it to Grandmaster difficulty, and as long as you got nearly an A score, even though it wasn't previewing a tier 5 reward, you would get a tier 5 drop every time you completed it. And this basically meant that we could run a solo ops at a minus 10 power delta and get a tier 5 reward every single time. So a few of us farmed out a handful of rewards for a few days in some instances. I only had literally a few hours to use it because I'd only just reached the appropriate power level. I'd made an entire video on it, but I wanted to wait for the patch because I had a feeling that it could be fixed with Bungie adjusting reward scores in these activities. And unfortunately, Bungie inadvertently fixed it. I'm pretty sure they weren't aware that it was a bug because no one in the player base seemed to be aware of it. Obviously, bit of a niche thing in a way because you had to be at a high power level to ever even be able to take advantage of it, but now, with the scoring updates, unfortunately, it's far harder to actually earn tier 5 rewards because we have to start with a 1.25 million reward score based on the patch that we had yesterday. And that doesn't include with objectives in activities, so to get tier 5 drops now, we'll have to play at really high power deltas again. Not many people have spoke about this, again, because of the niche element of the power level required to even do it, but unfortunately, before the update yesterday, it was actually easier to earn tier 5 loot than it is now, so in a weird way, Bungie have tried to make it more consistent, but they've technically nerfed it. Hopefully we get some changes to that. It's not so bad if you're running fire team ops activities with a capable fire team, but if you want to clear solo ops on ultimate difficulty at minus 60 or 70, it's not the most fun thing in the world. Separately though, they did update the patch notes yesterday because they missed out the Prime Engram change. So they say at all power bands now, players have a chance for a Prime Engram to drop per portal activity completion reward. And from 450 to 500, Prime Engram power is increased up to 3+ power, where it was previously +2. That affects every player in the game because it's at any power band, so not something I've tested just yet, but definitely worth taking advantage of activities with multiple completion drops for chances at further power increases, and once you're above 400, I think, right? That'll mean that those primes are always tier 5s, so that's that. For the moment, guys, that's what we have to round up, really. Haven't played much Iron Banner. Maybe I'll be tempted to go in there today at some point. More than anything, though, like I said, I'm very curious to see what this roadmap Bungie are working on will actually entail. I think it's largely going to focus on updates that will land between now and when Renegades drops, and how they plan to improve the game. So fingers crossed for that. Getting the game to a better place is without doubt going to be a process. So for the moment, I'm here for it. But give me your impressions and thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a rating really does help us out. Also be sure to get subscribed and I'll keep you up to date with more D2 content. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I most sincerely hope, Guardians, that you have an awesome day.